My dad was run by Andy. We have the same exact name.
For Andreas Andy Koutsoudakis, being a junior makes him feel anything but.
I always looked up to him because he had this just passion, this thirst, this energy. To this day, you say, I'm Andy's son. And it's always like an instant proud moment for me to say that and see their reaction.
You've said that your dad is the epitome of the American dream. Tell us what you mean by that.
My dad grew up in Kenya, in Crete. He was sent with his 3 older sisters to New York, where my grandmother's brother lived. And it was kind of, hey, you have a better shot of making it there. Got a job as a gas pump attendant. And, within 3-6 months, he starts working as a grillman. They just kind of took the diner community by storm.
At just 28 years old, Andy Sr. and his business partner opened their first diner in Manhattan, Gee Whiz in Tribeca.
Everybody thought he was crazy, and it just became a staple there. He really, really embraced the community and gave his heart and soul to it.
It's so neat to hear you talk about it as so much more than just a restaurant.
Oh my goodness, it's absolutely more than a restaurant.
In 2014, Andy Sr. opened another diner, Tribeca's Kitchen, and once again poured his all into making it a neighborhood staple.
Now, before the pandemic hit, how often was your dad at the diner? What was his schedule like?
8 days a week.
But as the world began shutting down, Andy Sr. began showing symptoms of COVID-19 and was rushed to the hospital.
And I said, what's going on, Daddy? You're going to be all right. You're going to be okay. I love you and all that. And I said, I love you too. He's like, I got to go. I got to charge my phone. But, I know he was like, he couldn't have that conversation with me. He was just really scared. And like 2 hours later, he was in ICU in a tube, completely, sedated.
Right away, Andy Jr. took action, providing for his new community, frontline workers, the only way he knew how.
I called a local restaurant. I told them I want to have lunch and dinner every day for the whole ICU staff. I was like, this is what my dad would do. Included in the order, handwritten letters to the staff and to his dad. And I said, please take care of my father, and thank you so much for everything you guys are doing. God bless you. And, lunch and dinner on me until my dad, gets out of the hospital. But Andy Sr. never did leave the hospital. On March 27th, he tragically passed away. It's just like heartbreaking to just have this feeling that your dad is dying alone, and all these people there by themselves. And you feel horrible about it. To honor his dad, Andy Jr. channeled his pain into purpose.
You didn't want people to send flowers. What did you ask them to do instead?
Hey, friends and family, whatever you're going to buy in flowers, put it in, a GoFundMe. And it just spread. It was unbelievable. I'm thinking it's going to be 2,000-3,000, but it went up to 55,000. It's a direct reflection of how much love my dad gave and how that love back was converted into something much more useful.
Andy Jr. took that money and used it to buy personal protective equipment and supplies for local hospitals.
We bought, 10,000 face shields, 8,000, N95 masks. I literally just covered every hospital, every nursing home, everybody who needed it.
Andy Jr. took sharing his father's legacy one step further. And despite being a lawyer, not a restaurateur, in July, he reopened Tribeca's Kitchen in honor of the man who started it all.
I know that you've said that you want to multiply, not just memorialize your dad.
I realized it was going to become a memorial, but I need a place that's going to celebrate him, somewhere where it's positive. Being able to kind of break bread together, share a moment, a good one or a bad one. That connection only happens in a restaurant. So there's no way, at least in my little corner of the earth, that's going to go away.
Now, after undergoing extensive renovations, Tribeca's Kitchen is set to fully reopen next month. And as I mentioned there, you guys, Andy Jr. will be there despite his day job being a lawyer. He's all in on the restaurant in his dad's memory.
Such a beautiful story.
I'm so glad you did that story, Sven. I walked by there the other day, and I was surprised that they were one of the few restaurants that weren't open. I didn't know the backstory behind it. Thank you so much.
Boy, he looks so much like his dad.
I know, right? I know. Such a sweet story. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. Nice to see you.